Hello. Hi. Good morning and good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So before we start, yeah, my name is Ram. So I work in Salesforce for the past almost 15 years, right? I started my career in Salesforce itself. Uh, yeah, started my career as an admin and then eventually moved to architecture, which is a goal of every Salesforce developer. And I've been in training from past 7, 8 years and trained people in multiple areas where I'm exported. So I've done my certifications in sales, service, admin, development, architectures. So somewhere around 20 plus within Salesforce. Yeah, yeah, this is about me. And today you are here to understand a basics, right? Maybe a point, not 1% of Salesforce. Like what is Salesforce? Why do we need it? And how does it really work in the real time? And what are the advantages? And of course, the job opportunities and the course content. So these are the things that I'm planning to discuss. Would anyone want to speak and say if you have any specific requirements or if you are already working in Salesforce or maybe other technologies? Anyone? I just want to, instead of making it as a demo session, right? I just want to make it a little more interactive so that it'll be easier for you to understand the things as well. Okay, I'll try to make you speak. Uh, who knows about this slide? Anyone? Deepti, Shruti, Sai Likit, Sai Krishna, Kusuma, Avinash, Divya, Geeta. Anyone?
I mean, it means everything is automated right now.
Yeah. So basically, this speaks about the industrial revolutions from the first one, which is steam, and then move to electricity, and then computing. Now we are into AIs, basically, right?
Yeah.
So not just any other technology. I mean, intention is to show you that even Salesforce is also into AI. It's been there quite some time back, some 7, 8 years, right? Uh, now, before we directly see or understand about Salesforce, right? So why do we need an application or a software application? Anyone? Why should I why should I even have to develop an application itself? Any guesses? It's very simple, right? You were using multiple applications in your mobile, right? Without, I don't think anyone in this session, at least, right? You can live without an application, one or the other app. Maybe even your calling app, WhatsApp, Zoom, or your, of course, your net bankings, everything, right? So why are you using these many applications?
Like we use every application for different purpose
Right?
based on our day-to-day life.
So basically, it actually have reduces your effort, right? And it makes your life more and more easier, right? For example, if
Yeah,
you, sorry, Kusma, go on, please.
so nothing.
Okay. So if you look at your grandparents, right? So let's say if they want to deposit a cash in the bank, so what they used to do, they have to go to the bank, stay in the queue, and then maybe for hours, and then complete their transactions. But are you doing the same? Or take a simple maybe reservations, right? Like, yeah, whether it could be a train or a flight, right? So when we go for a 2 decades back, right, people are standing in, I mean, they have to go to that particular space and then they have to do it manually. But these days, are you doing the same? No, right? So you are simply sitting at home, opening your mobile or your laptop, going to that particular application, doing your job, including your shopping as well, right? So why? Because it saves your time, right? But if you see the other side of the definition, right? So this is for the consumer. I being a consumer, so it saves me a lot of time. But if you look at the person who is building the application or an organization which is building the application, right? For example, your Citibank or your SBI for that matter. I mean, looks like everyone is India from India, right? So these banks, they are giving you these applications, and of course, they are charging your maintenance as well, right? At the end of year. So which means this is giving them the bread and butter, right? So that helps for the organization's livelihood. Right? One is for the ease of the customer, and the other one is it earns them money. It generates an ROI. And if either of these two things are not there, then like more or less each and everything is independent, right? Now, no, these days we are speaking about, of course, intelligence, cloud, many things. But earlier, again, if you go maybe somewhere around 2010 or prior to that, if you have any IT employees in your house, like any relatives or friends, right, who worked in 2000s, early 2000s, speak with them. They'll say that, yes, to build an application, we have to spend at least an year easily. Why? Because those are all legacy platforms. What do you mean by legacy platforms? Where I have to build my own server, set up my own server, right? Define the user access on my own or the security on my own. Hope you have watched a lot many movies where US army security has been broken by the hackers and all, right? So those times, yes, because these are all standalone systems, right? Now the security is always little lesser, right? But to wipe this off, I mean, this we call it as legacy platform, where you have to forget about building the application, but to set up an environment for building the application, you have to follow this many steps, right? Where you have to set up your own hardwares like servers, and you have to install your softwares. For example, I can't simply write Java on a notepad and execute it, right? I have to install the softwares, especially your SAP, right? You need a minimum hard disk space of around 400 GB just to install the SAP application. Forget about running the application. and the user access defining, or it could be reportings or securities, everything. It takes lots and lots of time because you have to set up on your own. But when it comes to cloud, there came a new feature called cloud computing. So here what happens is, example, if you consider the legacy platform as your on-premise application, you being the owner of the application or the resource owner, you have to take care of all this headache, right? Even if one or the other has been broken in this, then again you have to go back, do everything from the scratch. But if you compare with cloud, so in cloud we have three uh, types of services. One is infrastructure, then platform, and software. Infrastructure is your Amazon Web Service, if you heard about it. Like here, what they'll do is you will have a service provider sitting somewhere in the world. They'll say, okay, Sai, if you want to build your application, it's fine. You don't have to buy anything. Come to me. I'll give you a space in my server. You can start building it. But if it is infrastructure, I will say, I'm giving you a black box. You have to set up your own middlewares for any integrations. And I don't know which software you will be using. You use yours, and you have to face your own runtime issues, right? And of course, you have to build your own application. This is what your infrastructure as a service comes in. So this is where your Amazon Web Service is one of the best examples. But there comes another cloud computing platform, which is platform as a service, where it says, boss, I'll give you max, which means you don't have to install anything. You come to my server, take a space, pay me the rentals, and start building your application and maintain your own data. A bit more easier, right? I don't have to think about this middlewares and all. You might say, okay, it's just a middleware, but that is very complicated in IT, right? Now, here, this is the first footprint of Salesforce, where we use force.com as a platform. You don't have to install any softwares in your system. That itself gives you a tremendous benefit for any organization who is using Salesforce. And that is one of the main reasons where most of the organizations these days are using Salesforce. Second thing. Third one is software as a service, right? So here, best example is your Facebook. So do you have to install anything for your Facebook? No. Log into your mobile or log into your desktop using the URL and start speaking with your friends. So this is a software or a product given to you as a service through internet, right? This has everything. And Salesforce plays a vital role in software as a service area. So along with the standard licenses that you are buying, right? By default, Salesforce gives you some flavors of standard applications like sales, service, marketing, communities, all this. What do you mean by standard applications? They'll define an application as a market standard. What do you mean by that? A very simple example. Let us say, what is a standard sales process? Can someone tell me? A very standard sales process. A very simple sales process. Anyone? Mhm.
I mean,
Let's
sales,
say, yeah, please go on.
I mean, I don't know exactly. Like in sales process means like a marketing and a product, or like a selling a product to the customer. You're
Any
talking.
So of course that includes as well, right? Like let's say I manufactured a new brand, a new mobile in the market, and no one knows about me. So I can't simply go to door and say, okay, Shruti, please buy my phone, right? That's not possible. What I'll do, I have to advertise my product, maybe in TVs or maybe in websites, or maybe very simple as banner ads. Looking at that, people like Shruti or Sai Krishna or Kusuma, whosoever it is, who's looking for a new phone, they'll start inquiring about my product. They'll see what are the features and the price that I'm quoting. Is that the right one? Is that the correct price that according to market standards? All these things. And if everything works out for them, then they'll say, okay, okay, we will buy. Right? This is how a general sales process will work out. But will it be the same for a farmer who have maybe around 100 kilos tomatoes? Let's say he wants to sell 100 kilos of tomatoes in the market. Does he have to follow all this? Definitely not, right? So, but in general, the standard sales process is this only, right? You may follow or you may not follow when you are selling a product, but this is the market standard prices. And this has been already defined in Salesforce. Now, Shruti will say, no, no, Ram, okay, if that is the case, let us say I own, let's say, 100 acres of lands. I have lots and lots of crops. So I want to use Salesforce, but you are saying that you have to follow this market standard process when you're using Salesforce. It doesn't fit for me. So I'm not supposed to use this, right? Or to make it more and more easier, people like Reliance, right? The organizations like Reliance and all. So they don't have to use Salesforce. If Salesforce says this is the market standard, you have to follow. But what Salesforce says is, yeah, I'm giving you a market standard process. Now it is up to you whether you want to use that or you want to build your own process or you want to customize the existing application. It allows you always, right? Whether it is 60%, 70%, 30%, it doesn't matter. I have given you the organization or the space, you build it on your own. But the moment you start using the existing one and started customizing it, half of your job is gone, right? You have to, instead of doing it from the scratch, you can start improving the product that is there in the system. Right? That is the advantage of using Salesforce. And one of the main features of Salesforce is customer 360. Why? Because if you see here, it gives a bird eye view for any organization for a customer. You want to do a sales? Yes, we have sales process. You want to provide a service? Let's say once you buy a car, you need to have a service from the same showroom or from the same company, right? So that we can define as well. And it also follows, or it first thing that Salesforce will follow is CRM. Can someone tell me what is CRM? Anyone? What is CRM?
So it is the like customer relationship management
Okay.
uh, to make which is used by the businesses to make interactions with the customers.
Okay. What is the tool for CRM? Or I mean, is that a tool or an application?
Like it's a software which is used for the business.
Mm, no. So basically, it's not a tool, by the way. It's just a process which helps you uh, to interact with your customer, right? And to have a healthy relation with your customer. But why should I have a healthy relation with my customer? So that I'll get a business, right? Let's say if I'm not providing a right service for a person who bought a car with in my showroom, definitely he will never suggest my showroom to any of his friends or relatives who wants to buy a car later, right? That's simple. But if I'm doing a best service, I don't have to tell and come and say, hey, Madhu, please uh, refer me here and there, right? He himself will do, right? Because I'm giving a right service. But how to provide that right service? For example, let us say he came and say that, okay, Ram, suddenly my car got broke down. Now, I will say, okay, Madhu, come in maybe 1 or 2 days or 2 days, for example, right? But within that 2 days, they might have hundreds of cars came for service. In that case, high chance that I might forget Madhu, right? Because I'm having high list of customers. But if I'm using some tool, in this case, Salesforce, I'm not saying Salesforce is the only tool that is available in the market, but any tool for that matter, that will tell me when should I start working on the case, and when should I communicate with Madhu, and how fast should I close the case? And at the same time, if the case has not been resolved, if the service ticket is not been resolved, when should I even escalate it? Because I don't, it won't look good if a customer, as a customer, you go and say that, hey, you told me to resolve, you told me that the case will be resolved in 2 days, but it's 4 days. And then looking at the customer feedback you're escalating is quite, it looks very awkward. But instead, I'm giving Divya maybe a day. And within that, if she is not able to make it, I will escalate immediately to Avinash, who is her senior within the organization, to do it immediately. Right? That makes more sense, right? Because as a customer, Madhu is least bothered when who is resolving his request. Right? His point is, I raised a case today. They said by within 2 days the case will be resolved. Whether it got resolved or not is what it matters. And that is what it's been built in the service clouds, right? Such kind of automations. And of course, we have to tweak them according to our business needs. Yeah. And similarly, everyone are aware of like Amazon web, right? Where you can go and buy any product. Similarly, we have a commerce cloud in Salesforce where it is exactly similar to Amazon, an e-commerce platform in Salesforce where you can make use of. And of course, apart from this, now you might say, okay, Ram, you are speaking about sales, service, or marketing, but I have some simple leave tracking process in my organization. Or uh, now Kusuma says, Ram, I'm working for a bank, or I own a bank. In my bank, we want to define a loan process, right? Process for a loan. But in this case, you are speaking only about all this. So for me to grant a loan to a person, I have to follow multiple steps, multiple verifications, all these things. Can I use Salesforce? Yes. And which area I fit into? You can build your own custom application. We can define our own approval process with our own stages, with our own custom tables, and we can define our own process. So that's where your applications comes in the picture, right? And once everything is done, we want to analyze the data. That is where we use analytics. So it's again a different product of Salesforce. This comes with a little costlier license. So only the organizations which has huge volumes of data will go for analytics. Apart from that, like we do have standard reporting structure in Salesforce, which is like for smaller organizations, that is actually enough, right? And then now, uh, as SAP, for example, right? It's one of the oldest organization in the market, right, till date in IT. Right? And most of the organizations have used or are using Salesforce, sorry, SAP as their core. Now, it could be Salesforce or it could be some other force, whether whatever the new technology that you are bringing, right? If you are tool or your technology is not capable of speaking with the external systems, then it is of no use, right? Because I will say Salesforce can do each and every job that you are looking for. But I will say you have to use only Salesforce in your organization. It won't work. Companies like IBM, Infosys, they bought SAP servers somewhere around 80, 90 years back. You can't simply say that, okay, wipe off everything and invest only in Salesforce. Right? That's not quite possible. So your tool must be able to speak with other systems in real time, which is nothing but integration, right? And yes, earlier lots and lots of technologies were using SOAP and REST APIs, but these days with the complexities that are there in the data, more or less every integration we need middleware. Of course, Salesforce supports SOAP and REST APIs as well if you want, but Salesforce has an inbuilt tool called MuleSoft, which it got acquired somewhere around 3, 4 years back, which is one of the costliest acquisitions of Salesforce, where it is a middleware which will help you to connect any system with Salesforce. Okay. And then employee experience, there's not that great product, I would say. We call the product name is Quip. It is exactly similar to your Google Docs, where in which if you want to collaborate with your colleagues on an attachment which is attached to a record, you can make use of employee experience. But I would say it's not uh, a great product of Salesforce. So it again it got acquired by acquired from a small other company, but it's not a that successful product because it's not of much of use for any organization. Then Trailblazer Scale. This one, yes, this is one of the beauties of Salesforce where, and I would say this is one of the success stories of Salesforce, right? Like any other technology, again, Salesforce also does upgrades, but instead of doing a release notes once in a year, giving you the documents, asking you to go through each and everything, Salesforce has a platform called Trailhead, where you can go there, search for any module, any topic, and understand. And of course, it works like a playground. It gives you a playground where you can practice there and earn some points from Salesforce, right? And of course, they will schedule some context where they will say, if you are completing this many badges in this area within this month, then you might get certifications or they'll give you hoodies and all. So that I'll discuss with you later if you are interested. Yeah. Then industries, yes, we use Velocity as our industry cloud, and it has been there in multiple areas, right? It has been used in multiple industries. Education cloud, like it's been used in education industries, like Stanford is using one of the famous universities, right? Or and it's been used in banking sectors or financial grouping sectors as well, where the best example is Citibank. Without Salesforce, Citibanks have to set off at least 60% of their transactions is completely built on Salesforce itself. Or if, as most of you are from, I mean, looks like the names are looks like in India, uh, you heard one advertisement which says Paytm Karo, right? Backend of Paytm is again Salesforce. They'll do the transactions on Salesforce itself. And Salesforce have two types of communities. One is partner community and the other one is success community. Partner community is for the service based organizations like IBM, Infosys, CTS, Wipro, all these things, where they will buy Salesforce license and work for their customers on the licenses, right? And success community is for the people like us, where we work in Salesforce. It doesn't matter which company it is, right? We all can connect with your success community, where you can post a question. Let's say I got stuck in some trigger, or I don't know. I have a use case where I have to integrate with SAP and SharePoint in one shot, and I don't know how to do it. So I'll post a question in success community. Within a day, there are lots and lots of people who are working in Salesforce. They'll go through all this, and you will get your answers as well. It's not that they'll come and sit and fix your issue, but at least you will get a right suggestions, right? And but now, Ram, you were speaking about bigger organizations, bigger banks. How about small industries? Who knows about Redbus in India? Anyone heard of Redbus in India?
Yeah,
What is it?
it's like an app for the we can book the bus tickets. Basically, we
It was
can book
built
a
by
ticket.
just two engineers sitting in Bangalore, right? Maybe now, yes, it has grown up a bit more, but it was built by just two people, right? And it is using Salesforce. One of the smallest organization in India that's using Salesforce. And it's not that I will earn say I mean once I learn Salesforce, I have to start a company or I have to get a job in the company. But if I have a good business knowledge, right? Or maybe I'll go for that with some other slide. Now, I'll pause it there. I'll that example I'll take it in next couple of slides. There's the environment that we use in Salesforce. It's a multi-tenant architecture, right? For example, if you're going with an on-premise system, right? What will happen? You have to build everything on your own. It will cost you a little more higher cost, right? For example, buying an individual house, right? If I want a pool in my house, so I have to buy at least a half acre land, set up everything, which will cost me more. But if I'm Staying in a apartment, I can use a pool in my apartment with a bare minimum maintenance cost, right? That's what Salesforce is. So in one day, you will have a dedicated space when you're buying a license from Salesforce. And this also means that you are restricted within that space. You can't go out, right? I bought a flat in an apartment. It doesn't mean that I can go out and shout at my neighbors, or I can have a dinner in one of my neighbors' house unless until he is my relative or friend, right? Unless until they allow me, right? So similarly, we do have some limitations. We call it as governor limits. So every feature that we have in Salesforce has its own limitations that we are going to look at it in near future, right? And then this is what it is. So if you compare this with the initial slides, right? Once you have an idea, you have to set up an infrastructure if you are going with a legacy platform. But here, the moment you have an idea, you will build an application once you have a license in Salesforce. And the beauty of it is you don't have to think about whether it supports different gadgets that has been used by the end user or not. That's the best part. So you don't have to think about, okay, how do I define a web app for my mobile or maybe for a tab and all. So it automatically supports all of them, right? Which is one of the disadvantages of many of the other technologies. Of course, this reduces your efforts in spending building the application, right? And the next slide, it's not that very important, but just to show you this face, right? Because you might have seen this face if you are following any IT news. So this guy comes with a statement called uh, the important point for any customer is trust. And he is the CEO of Salesforce. Now, how many of you are using smartphones? Stupid question, right? How many of you are not using smartphones? A kind of stupid question again because everyone is using it, right? Now you have uh, the app stores or the play stores in your mobiles, depending on your versions. Now, who started this app store or play store actually? From where it got started? Is that from Android or from iPhone?
App Store from iPhone.
Right? So it started from iPhone, but actually, idea belongs to this guy. As he is a friend of Steve Jobs, he have given the domain as a gift to Steve Jobs. The App Store domain has been actually registered with this fellow, right? And he has gifted this to Apple, and he came up with a new word called App Exchange. And this is what you do in App Store as well, right? So you can use your existing, I mean, use tools like WhatsApp or something, or if you are good enough, and if you have a very good use case, you can build an application and then sell it in App Exchange, sorry, in your App Store, correct? And that's what happens in App Exchange as well. But this is constrained only to Salesforce. Within Salesforce, if you have a strong business idea, I'm speaking about business because Salesforce itself is for business, right? It is not for the social use, correct? So let's say Conga Composer. So there is one team who thought, okay, people are struggling in defining PDFs. So why can't I build a tool or an application which helps me to give a document when I feed some records? That's where Congo Composer came in. And they are one of the leading in competitors in Salesforce world when it comes to your documentations, right? Similarly, you have something called DocuSign, which will help you for e-signatures. And Nico, Encino is for reporting, right? Likewise, we have lots and lots of ideas that has been built in an application and installed in App Exchange, where this how the screen looks. So you can go to App Exchange and start using any of this if it really works for you. And of course, it won't be Some of them will be for free and some of them will charge maintenance. And when it comes to App Store or Play Store, right, I can simply deploy my application if I have the ID, right? Once I build it. But when it comes to Salesforce, it's not that easy because App Store users are free, Play Store users are free. But when it comes to Salesforce, users are not free. It's been controlled by Salesforce, right? So as because of this slide, which says the important point for them is trust, they will make sure your entire application goes for a scrutiny of 3 months bare minimum, which will check each and everything, the UI, securities, designs, everything. And hence they feel that yes, your application is built in a better way. That is where they'll allow you to deploy your application in App Exchange. And of course, the rest will be history if you're having a big use case, which means it's not that you have to get a job in Salesforce. If you have a very good idea and deploy it, I mean, build and deploy it in the App Exchange, right? You will eventually become an entrepreneur. And this is a little older slide. And of course, this is not good. But yeah, I mean, if it is little old, then why Ram you kept this? Because this gives you the growth. So similar documents, even now also no one is posting because of some security measures. But if you see the growth of Salesforce, it started in 99 and now it ended up uh, with $35 billion company, right? And if you see, these are all the small organizations that have been acquired by Salesforce till date. Could be Heroku, Jigshaw, and I was speaking about Marketing Cloud, right? Marketing Cloud is a product of Exatac, right? Similar to that, like lots and lots of organizations has been acquired by Salesforce. It's not that okay, Salesforce is playing a monopoly role in the market. Rather, what they are thinking is instead, if you have seen a very good product in the market, then instead of competing with that product, see if we can work with them by acquiring that organization if they are small enough or good enough to work with us. So that's the idea or that's the mentality that Salesforce started. And of course, it's one of the successful company in the world. Yeah. And yes, this slide is very, very important for you people. Why? So if I'm not wrong, some of you are uh, freshers or college grads, and some of you are experienced as well, right? Now, why you people are learning Salesforce? You can learn some other technology as well, right? There are lots and lots of technologies. For example, within career IT, you have a lot of other technologies also. Why only Salesforce? Why did you came here? Anyone? Especially for the people who are looking for a switch in their career.
Like for the Salesforce, the market was good from the past 10 years.
Okay. Um, it's wrong. Salesforce market will be good for the next 10 years. That's the right answer. That is when you should choose a technology, right? So if it was good, then I don't have, I'm speaking in the past tense. I'm not thinking about the future, right? Thing is, if you see here, the growth of Salesforce or the history of Salesforce, it says it's always on the upper side. Why? Because that's the best CRM that is available in Salesforce. I'm not saying, or I'm not simply exaggerating this, but you can go and compare. There is no tool available in the market till date and for the next 5-10 years as well, for sure, which is equivalent to Salesforce or above Salesforce. Salesforce is always number one CRM tool in the market. There are multiple applications or multiple technologies, but they are not as good as Salesforce when it comes to your customer experience or the securities or the ease of building, right? That's the reason companies are using Salesforce. When I started my career in 2010 in Salesforce, when I say that to my cousins and all, like I'm working in Salesforce, people thought like, okay, Ram is is selling something forcefully. Like you might have seen in old movies, right, where you go to each and every door and say sell some surf packets and all. Because no one knows about Salesforce when I started Salesforce, right? When I started working in. But around 2015, people got to know about what is it, what wonders an organization can do when you use Salesforce, and that is where now it has generated a $35 billion company. But now again, why again? Why Salesforce? What it really matters to me with these numbers. So let's say if Salesforce tomorrow, it is, I think it is now targeting for $50 billion company by the end of this year. Again, right? Now, if Salesforce is growing, what does it mean? The customers who are using Salesforce applications or Salesforce the technology is growing, which also means the customers who is looking for a solutions in Salesforce also is increasing, which also means they are looking for the people who can build the solutions, which means you people. That is the reason people are looking for Salesforce, right? So if Salesforce is there only for next 2 years or 3 years, then you don't, there is no point in thinking about Salesforce. Forget about learning Salesforce, right? Don't even think about the technology, right? But if an organization has grown this drastic and it has keeps on growing because it's not growing vertically, it's looking at the horizontals, right? And this is one of the success mantras of Salesforce. Acquiring the organizations who is doing that. They will say that, okay, we are working with others and all. But what Salesforce does is it will see which is the good technology in the market and acquire and tweak it according to Salesforce, which is not being done by any other organizations like Microsoft, SAP, or any other technology for that matter, right? That's the main reason, right? And yeah, whether you learn the Salesforce from Career IT or some other institute, or it doesn't matter. But yeah, the moment that you have decided, yes, I want to learn Salesforce, that itself is one of the biggest decisions that you are taking in your life, right? Which is on a positive note. Now, okay, Ram, all Gyan is good, but what are you going to teach? We are going to have sessions on two features, right? One is admin and the other one is development, right? But I will tell them, I mean, tell you people as like, instead of calling it as an admin, I will call it as low code development or no code development. Why? Because the definition of admin in Salesforce is not uh, as same as an admin in any other technology. Because what do you mean by an admin? Let us hear us from your words. And what do you mean by an administrator? Anyone?
Creating new user access, providing roles, business roles, authorizations,
Perfect. Anything else?
taking care of platform,
Perfect.
upgrades and releases.
Okay. Now, I will tell you the roles and responsibilities of an admin in Salesforce. He is the person who can build an application for me. He is the person who can build a data model for me. He is the person who can validate my data. He is the person who can automate my data. He is the person who can define an approval process for me. And of course, whatever Madhu said, he is the person who can provide access, all these things also. He looks at the security as well, right? But without writing a single line of code, all these activities can be done. And these are the areas that we are going to touch upon. Like we'll look at the data models, we'll look at the user interfaces, we'll look at the securities, automations, sales and service, which are standard processes given by Salesforce, because that is one of the key roles, key questions you'll have as from sales and service from any of the interviews. And of course, what if we have a bulk data? How do we load it? How do we handle it? And the reporting structure, right? And we are not going to learn these concepts directly again, right? So instead, we will go with, because I'm not gonna give you a project at the end, by the way, right? Which if you're expecting this from me, please I will strictly say no. I'm not going to give you any project at the end of the session by taking 3, 4 sessions only on the project and all. That is not possible in my sessions. Rather, what I'll do is from the day one, we will start working on a project. So we will pick a real-time use case in the market and we'll see how do we start using it in Salesforce. But Ram, if you are speaking about a project from day one itself, we don't know anything about Salesforce. We are coming with a zero knowledge. So are you thinking that we must have some basic knowledge? No. What are the prerequisites for admin? I want you to learn only about some basics of Excel. When I say basics, it doesn't mean that I want you to learn about creating formulas, color codings, and all. If you know how to create a table, enough. That's the basic that I'm looking for. I want you to know what is an Excel file, what do you mean by sheets, what are rows and what are columns, what is a table in Excel. That's it. Rest all we'll start looking in Salesforce. Right? For example, a banking sector. So we'll take an example of a banking, what they do, how the customer, how they'll have the customers, and how the accounts will be there, and when they are doing the transactions, how your balances will increase or decrease. When you are applying for a loan, how the loan process will go on, all these things. So we'll take an example every day, right? And we'll see what is the right feature that is available in Salesforce, which will help you to resolve that example. In which way it will be easier for you, of course, for me, to understand where exactly a particular feature fits in your overall roadmap of an application, so that in future if someone asks you, even in an interview or in your real-time experiences, if you see a scenario, you will come into you can easily just saying that okay, this can be done by this particular feature. Reason, again, like any other technology, even in Salesforce also, for a single problem you'll have a bare minimum of 3 to 4 solutions. And you will be chosen as a candidate only if you have chose the best solution out of those 3 or 4 available, right? And I'm sure that you will be there at that position by end of this sessions. And yeah, this will take hardly around 20 sessions, right? Maybe in 1 hour, if you consider 1 hour a day, right? And at the end, you can go for an admin certification, giving a gap of 3, 4 days only if you practice. And when I say practice, I want you to practice at least 15 to 20 minutes a day. That is more and more than enough, because 90% of the admin sessions, I'm not going to share their screen. One of you will share the screen every day, and we'll speak about the concept, we'll speak about the use case, and we will do it in your systems, in your Salesforce logins. Because it's not that we are giving you something for free of course. Salesforce is giving you the environments for free of course. There are ways where we can get the free environments of Salesforce. Once we get the environments, we'll start building the applications. Right? And there is one big reason for me asking you to share the screen rather than me sharing the screen is once you do it for the first time, right, you will definitely be slow, right? When I do it, I'm not saying that I'm super fast and all, but there will be some difference between a person with doesn't have any knowledge and a person which has who has around 15 years of experience, right? So it still goes a little more faster, right? But till you get comfortable, I'll ask one of you to share the screens so that you will do lots and lots of mistakes and you will get familiar with the technology or of course, the technical terms that are available in sales, right? So I never know whose name will be picked in the sessions from later on. Yeah. Then we'll discuss about development. This is where advanced admin, right? Kind of. So the prerequisite, if you see, you must learn admin for sure for development. Why? Why will I go with development? Because I can build everything in admin. That's what I said, right? I can build an application. I can give you data model. I can write the validations. I can give you automations and all. But why are we going for development? Even though we can do anything and everything in your admin, there are some restrictions because as it is no code or low code development, you will be restricted at some areas like customized UIs or asynchronous activities. All these things cannot be done, or complicated logics cannot be handled in your hand. That's where we learn development. But if you don't know admin, because I have seen people who are saying that, okay, I learned development directly. No, that's not possible in this Salesforce. Because if you don't know that it cannot be done in development admin, or unless until you are aware that this cannot be resolved in admin, you won't go to development, right? Because it needs some technical knowledge like object-oriented programming, HTML, CSS, some basics, right? Unless until you have this basic knowledge, you can't learn this. And for this, you will work on the data models that is built in admin only. You'll work on the security that is built in admin only. You'll work on the UIs that is built in development only. Because you will extend the things here and development. That's where you need the knowledge in admin. And if you have observed, this means your developer will always have an extra advantage when compared to an admin for seeking when you are seeking a job. Because when you are a developer, which means that I know Divya is aware of admin completely. Without knowing admin, you cannot go, you won't go with developer. So I'll hire Divya rather than Geeta, who knows only admin, right? Because I can use Divya in both ways. So there is always an edge for a developer when it comes to the market when you compare with your admin. Clear? Any questions? Anyone? Here we'll speak about the server side and then queries, synchronous and asynchronous apex. Again, UI, the custom UIs, we'll speak about Aura and Lightning Web Components and some email services. Finally, we'll see how to release an application from your development environment to production environments as well. Yeah, that's all. That's all from my end. Any questions? Anyone?
So, sir, can you tell about certifications?
Yes, we will.
Oh,
In during the sessions, right? Again, so uh, question is, instead of again bringing at the end, I don't believe in the pattern where complete everything and then do a project at the end, or have a certification question is at the end and all. Rather, when we are speaking about a particular feature, when we are working on a particular feature, right? On the same day, I will start asking you the questions. And of course, for example, today I've completed Apex. Tomorrow I'm going to start with Soccer. So I will revise these concepts as a way that it goes with interviews or even your certifications. That way I'll come. Is that okay, Geeta? So I have two advantages. Uh, there are two advantages here. One is with you, so you won't forget the concepts. Second thing is with me, because whenever I want to go back, I can go back, right? And I can easily relate the topics as well.
okay. I heard about like a PD1 certification. It's a mandatory, but it takes like a 3-4 months, right? To
Yeah,
complete the
I'm with you, right?
certification.
So at the end, if you observe both the slides, once the admin
Mm-hmm.
is done, you can go for a admin certification, right?
Mm-hmm.
This you can go easily because it doesn't need any coding language. But
Yeah.
when it comes to development, I would say you need at least 2 weeks of practice before you go.
Oh,
I mean, post
okay.
my sessions, take 1 or 2 weeks of gap, prepare well, and then go for a certification.
Okay, got you. So, how many months it will be like how many days the course will be?
Again, this will be for 20 hours. So on an average, we'll go with 2 months, right? At 1 month for admin and 1 month for development.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers actually goes above but never below, unless until you people have agreed for some extra sessions. Because sometimes, let's say today Avinash is sharing a screen, and tomorrow Divya might share a screen. Let's say I'm able to complete it, let's say they are a little faster. But there is another Ram who is very slow like me. He was not able to understand Sokal and he kept on asking questions. Then we have to look up him as well. That is where the sessions will become a little slower. And of course, when we are discussing more about the real-time scenarios, if you people are interested, then the conversations will build up and it'll take some time, right? So for that, you can take some buffer as well. But ideally, 2 months is the time.
Okay.
Will do any project on this?
Yeah. So that's what I said, right? We'll do a project right from the day one.
Okay, okay, sir.
And we'll build a use case and we'll start building that as a project in your own Salesforce orgs right from day one. But without knowing concepts, that I'll handle. Don't worry.
Okay.
Which means by end of the sessions, right? Like by end of the development, you will have, I mean, if you are practicing the sessions with the assignments and all, you will have a full-fledged project in your own org instead of looking at the documents. I don't believe in documents. I'm sorry to say this. But yeah, documentations, people will ask for this, especially project documentation. Yeah, I mean, there's concepts and all, anyways, you will get all those documents. But when it comes to project documentations, we'll ask, but honestly, we won't look at them at hand, right? And I will be also in the rush at the end if you are looking only for the project for 3 4 days, because whatever you have discussed for 2 months, if you are asking me to just cover in 3 4 days, I will say, okay, for this you have to write triggers which we have discussed on third day of the session, and I'll ask, okay, Divya, please write a trigger tomorrow. And then I'll say the Geeta, if you remember, fourth day or fifth day of the session, we have written a validation. You have to apply that validation here. I'm not that kind of person. Rather, we will discuss right at the point where we need it. Yeah.
So, Rama, I have one question regarding.
Yeah, Madhu, go on.
Are we going to cover like a service? So, are we going to cover these three modules or only services?
What do you mean by services?
I mean, in CRM, we have sales, service, and marketing, right?
That's the
So,
marketing won't be covered. I'll cover sales and service because marketing needs a specific license which you cannot get it for free. And
okay, okay,
marketing is again a different product where you have to spend 2 months learning.
okay. You mean 2 months of learning?
Yeah, worst case 1 month.
Okay. But whatever we learned here, admin part and pro development, so that will not be applicable for marketing or
No, marketing is a tool which is built on top of these, right? And
okay,
it comes with a specific license. So you have to learn it separately.
okay.
And I
So
don't think you will get a trainer for marketing as well in India.
okay. So you were saying technical wise, there is a huge gap between these sales and service and marketing,
Uh,
right?
I won't say huge gap, but yeah, it's advanced than sales and service.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like more into AI, Gen AI, and those
No,
things, right?
that's different.
Okay,
That's completely different.
okay. Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ram, I've never been into IT till now, so I'm starting my IT career right now. So would this be a good to start for me? Like,
Okay. I was expecting this question actually. People are speaking
okay,
about systems and all. I was thinking like, okay, can I have a person like me who don't know any
okay,
IT started? Because I'm one of the best examples. I was an electronics student, right? I used to hate sales, IT.
uh-huh,
Eventually, I fall under IT. I don't know
okay,
Java. Even now also I don't know Java, honestly. Even I'm seeing
Okay.
that object-oriented program is very important for development. Even now also I don't know Java. I learned Apex, which is Salesforce technology, right? Which is built on say on top of Java again, but I learned only Apex, which is good enough. Uh,
Okay.
and now, if you want to learn Salesforce development, good. If you say, Ram,
Okay.
I want to learn only admin, can I
Uh-huh.
say? Yes, your chances of surviving will become 50% when it comes to a developer. But at the same
Okay.
time, the beauty of Salesforce is what are the roles that you have in the market? A developer, admin,
Okay.
tester,
Uh-huh.
business analyst, right? And an architect. Keep architect
Oh,
aside because this may not work out for you people as you are starting the careers. Right? Now
okay.
there are tags: Salesforce developer, Salesforce admin. This is common because once you learn admin and development is the same. But people are looking for Salesforce testers. People are looking for Salesforce BAs.
Okay.
Technology specific BAs, technology specific testers is what the markets are looking for. They are not looking for a generic tester. They are not looking for a generic BA who knows the product. They are looking for the technology specific BAs. So this has eventually have grown up the chances of a person, especially like you, who don't know or
Mhm.
who was not interested to go with the development. But the point is, either of these two people must be aware of the concepts of admin, sorry, concepts of development. Of course, admin
Development.
for sure, but you should be aware
Mhm.
of the concepts of development, like how does it actually work. It's not that you have to write all the logics, but if you,
Okay.
there is a big difference between writing a logic and understanding a logic. Understanding a logic is what is more important, I would say, because writing, even now, there are a lot of chat GPTs who can give you the code, right? So understanding is
Yes.
that's where you can figure out a role in the market. But eventually, I don't have to tell you, or no one have to tell you, even if you start your career as an admin or BA or a tester, within two
Mhm.
years, I can give you on writings that you will become a developer. That's how
Okay.
Salesforce works. I mean, that's how I learned.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Anyone else? Hope the session is not that boring.
Is the classes
No,
every
it's
day,
not good.
like Monday to Friday, or like 7 days a
It
week?
will be Monday to Friday, 5 days in a week. Timings, one of the person from Career IT will contact you.
Okay.
At least in the initial days, right? Like later on, based on the comforts of others, we will see if you are looking for a weekends, we'll have it on weekends.
And timings is same like every day, 8 a.m. in India.
That's what timings and all. Let's leave it to the Career IT only, because they have to look for everyone's comfort, right? They'll give you the suggested timings that are available. Then
Oh,
we can decide.
okay.
So, Rama, what is your opinion when we compare with the we know that in the market, Salesforce is the leader in CRM world, and old product we have SAP CRM also. So, what is your opinion when we compare both these things?
Okay. Uh, Very good question, but hope you're not asking a wrong person.
Means,
Even though I'm there in Salesforce from quite some
yeah,
time,
yeah,
right, I
no,
will never say that Salesforce is the only tool that is available in the market for any of your problems. No,
yeah, yeah.
that is a straight no answer, right? Uh, to make your uh, to give you a simple answer, if there is a data to be matured, and if you have a well-defined process to mature your data, then I would say, apart from Salesforce, there is no other best tool that is available in the market.
Okay.
And again, whether any technology is there or not, your CRM will be there for next 100 years. Agreed?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And as I said, Salesforce is the best CRM tool that is available in the market. I know some organizations, very big organizations, where they are thinking, they thought, okay, as because Salesforce is not free again, when
Yeah. Yeah.
the licenses are costly compared to other technologies, right?
So
So
I have seen few customers. I mean, I'm see end of the day money matters, right?
yeah,
So
that's
license
right.
cost and everything. So there are some customers they're trying to shift to different things because of this reason.
Super.
So MuleSoft also recently they increased their license cost too
Correct.
much after acquiring. So it's
Correct.
very difficult to middleware go with the MuleSoft, looking for different things, yeah, different
Yes,
applications. Yeah,
exactly. So the thing is, out of 100 or at least 95% of the organizations who use Salesforce, they have seen a profit of 40% growth before, I mean, after using Salesforce. First thing, that is one reason people use Salesforce. Yeah. Second thing is, how do I say? Yes, some of the organizations, they thought like, okay, we'll switch from Salesforce to something else. But till date, that something is not yet figured out because there is nothing. No other, as I'm stressing it. I mean, this is not just because I'm there in Salesforce, because obviously,
yeah.
if you keep all this aside, I have to run my family. If suddenly tomorrow Salesforce comes and says, "Hey Ram, we are shutting our, I mean, we are closing our shutter. Please go home or switch to some other technology." Obviously, I have to switch to something else, right?
Yeah.
And in IT, when 15 years, which means that you are starting your second phase of your life, right? From past
Right,
three, 4 years, I'm actually trying to figure out if is there anything that is a competitor of Salesforce. Till date, even I'm not able to figure out, because I'm not saying that I'm so great, but yeah, I have a very good contacts outside the market, right? I speak with a lot of architects. I do know a lot of my friends, they have their own startups, and many of the people who are who studied with me, they are also in a good positions like me in many other bigger organizations. So everywhere, yes, architects are trying to figure out, but the answer is always a no when they want to replace Salesforce. That is one reason, as this is aware of Salesforce, they are increasing the cost,
yeah. True.
right?
Yeah,
If you know that, okay, you have a good competitor in the market, why will you hike your prices?
yeah.
Correct, na?
Yeah.
That's what the end story is. Did I
Thank
answer your
you.
question?
Yeah. And can you please suggest me what will be the learning path for sales for solution architect?
We will.
Okay.
I'll show you. I mean, I'll give you the path. There is a
Yeah.
pyramid where you have to target for. So I'll show
Okay.
you that.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
And any experienced people in the session?
So I'm into solution architect into SAP CRM.
Oh, great. Oh, that's the reason you're asking. Okay.
Okay, I
I
have
hope I didn't
around.
pull your leg.
No, no, it was nice. Yeah, conversation. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not just, I mean, I'm
yeah,
not
I
asking
got it.
to criticize people, but
Yeah.
I'm just giving
No,
you
no,
my.
no, it's a true. I mean, in the outside market also, I was also discussing with my colleagues and then outside market trend. Yeah. So in CRM world, the Salesforce is the number one. I mean, we are hearing this from past few years. Yeah.
Any other questions, anyone? Perfect then. I think you can speak with Career IT about your feedbacks. Yeah, it's okay whether you're joining or not. Yeah, please do provide your feedbacks to the consultancy. And yeah, thanks for joining, spending more than 1 hour with.
Thank you, Ram.
Yeah, and yeah, let's see how many of you will turn up in the next session.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ram.